I don't think there's anything that's certain in the world at the moment. There's a lot that can change, there's a lot that can happen. And I think that is in the back of your mind every time I'm going into work.
Adult trauma, ETA 5 minutes.
Got an assault coming in. He's stabbed multiple times.
5-year-old hit by a car, dragged for 3 metres, degloved the right side of their scalp. Code red.
They're now saying partial amputation with a traumatic cardiac arrest.
This is just disastrous.
Travel by cow. I can't make that up.
Oh, it's a proper day today, isn't it?
St George's, London, one of Britain's busiest A&E departments, under more pressure than ever.
What are you doing?
It does sometimes feel like a battlefield, and it feels like a losing battle at times as well.
You need to calm yourself down.
I have 10 traumas and absolutely no space.
25-year-old jump from a 3rd floor balcony.
This is the point where we can make a difference.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
A place where life,
Best place to make friends, A&E.
love, and loss
Scariest thing in my life. I thought I lost it.
unfold every single day.
A life is not just a singular thing. Things that happen to you have a huge effect on the people around you as well.
You scare me so much, you know that?
All the patients you're about to see were treated in just one 24-hour period.
I see behaviour every day that reaffirms my belief in the inherent goodness of people.
It's all a bit of a shock, isn't it?
And I think I'm incredibly fortunate to work in that environment.
It's a lot to take in. He's the love of my life.
Jackie's got a nice bod.
Have we?
Oh, him. Jack. That one there.
I can't really see through that past.
Are you near the end of your training?
No, because I'm flexible training.
Is that part-time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that because you've got children?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
It's fine. I always wanted to be a sweet shop owner. Definitely, that was my first job. But that didn't last very long. Shall we have a look? And it's really only when I went to university that finance attracted me. Obviously, you earned quite a decent salary, which was really nice when you're young and you live in London.
There's a risk of infection. We also do need to make sure the bone is not broken.
But I felt that I didn't quite fit in the city. So when I left finance at 27 years old, it was a bit of a relief. I think being a doctor, people look to you to help them, and I think that was really, really what attracted me to it.
You sit up for 2 seconds. I just want to listen at the back of your chest.
It took me a little bit longer than most people to train as a doctor, and that's purely because I had 3 children while I was at medical school.
Have you got any tummy pain?
It's really hard to juggle, working and being a mum. It makes me feel guilty all the time. If I can't go to a sports day, if I can't go to my kids' drama at school, it's really hard.
So we've got a cannula in.
But I think my children have learnt that mummy is not going to be there all the time, and that's okay too.
It's St George's.
Pediatric trauma, OK? I'm assuming he's the cyclist. So it's head injury and no helmet.
A 16-year-old cyclist is being rushed to A&E after a collision with a car travelling at 30 miles an hour.
15 minutes, OK. Pediatric trauma, 15 minutes.
On average, over 150 injured cyclists are admitted to St George's every year.
What's the story?
Cyclist versus a car. He's 16-year-old. He was throwing 12 feet and he wasn't wearing a helmet. When we hear a cyclist who was not wearing a helmet, immediately the alarm bells start ringing in your mind.
He's a head injury and he's confused.
That is the one piece of gear that he could have to protect his brain.
The boy's father was at work when he heard the news.
I'm a window fitter, just finishing a job, and I got a phone call from the police. The police officer told me Ollie has been hit by a car and he was unconscious for a while. I packed my tools away, jumped in the van and went as quick as well I could. I think I might have been cursing him slightly, blaming him for it, but worried behind that. It wasn't until the phone call from his mother that we realised how bad it was.
Ready, brace, slide.
Okay, so are you ready for the handover?
16-year-old Ollie, he's been hit by a car approximately 30 miles an hour. Ollie was coming from the other side of the junction on his push bike. He'd been through about 15 feet away to a lamppost. On my arrival, he was bleeding from mouth. He started fitting immediately after that. At some point, about half an hour, he lost his memory. We immobilized him, and I given him 1 gram of paracetamol for the feeling.
Thank you for that. Hi, I'm Kirsty. I'm one of the doctors looking after your son. We're going to send him for a CT scan, and we're going to do a full body CT, and that's mainly because of the mechanism of injury. It's a dangerous mechanism. A young cyclist who collided with a car at 30 miles an hour, then you know that there has been a significant amount of force. He's shaking a bit. I think that's mainly shock. We're going to take him round. We're going to go for CT. I would immediately worry about the fact that he may have multiple injuries. And that will include brain injury, spinal injuries, internal organ injury, and obviously limb injuries.
So I'm definitely worried about becoming a father. You just want to make things better for them, but you feel helpless. You're in the hands of the doctors and nurses.
"16-year-old cyclist Ollie arrived in A&E after a collision with a car travelling at 30 miles an hour. Doctors have ordered CT scans.
Hello mate, my name is Ian. I'm one of the radiographers. I'm going to do some scans of your head, neck, chest and tummy, okay? You're doing really well. Just keep nice and still.
He was hit on his right side by the car pulling across a junction, and then he was thrown into a lamppost and then had a seizure.
If a patient has experienced a seizure after a high-impact collision, for us, it's a red flag. And for that reason, we would suspect a brain injury until proven otherwise. I can't imagine, as a parent, getting that call.
Boy.
Breathe in and hold your breath.
He's an outdoors lad. Always has been. He likes being free and going where he wants. The woods, the countryside, the sea. He's always loved a bike. I taught Ollie to ride. Stabilisers off, run alongside him, let him go a few times. Bit of a speed wobble, you know, the way we all learn. And then all of a sudden they're off. Magical moment, that is. And then you can't stop them.
Breathe normally.
And he got to a certain age and it just swapped to BMX. I've been there, stood on the ramps with him, and it is skillful. It's not just the bike ride, it's the danger element and the adrenaline.
He's got a missing tooth, by the way, as well. I'm just thinking whether he swallowed it when he's fitted.
There's limitless energy for his bike. Can't tidy his room though, or load the dishwasher. That's too much energy.
Nice and still, Ollie. 1, 2, 3, slide, well done.
But he worked very hard at school. He excelled in maths, woodwork, more hands-on things.
Ready, steady, slide.
I think he was the only boy in the class that could use a saw when he first started.
Just feeling really, really dizzy.
I think your blood pressure just dropped.
Blood pressure gives us an indication of how well the patient is providing oxygen and blood supply to all their vital organs. When the blood pressure drops, we often worry about bleeding out or bleeding somewhere, and that can be fatal.
I'm just going to literally give you a burst of oxygen, OK? Ollie, I want you to try and focus on breathing a little bit deeper and slower, OK? Just take some nice, slow, big, deep breaths for me. Slow, big, deep breaths, because you're doing very shallow breathing at the moment.
Life without Ollie would not be the same. I'm a father first, but a friend second, you know.
Oh my God, Anthony, don't do that. Anthony.
Yeah, it was straight in there.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think.
There?
Yeah, straight in that one.
I didn't care.
Children's Emergency Department.
I can't even hear myself breathing.
You can't hear yourself breathing? Can you hear?
When I sniff and breathe, I can hear it.
Oh dear. Let's hope it comes out, eh?
6-year-old Narayan has come to St George's after stuffing a piece of paper in his ear.
Such a sausage.
I'm not a sausage that you eat.
Not one that you eat, no. A different kind of sausage.
I've got 2 boys. They are both really accident prone. They can't control their bodies. I don't know if it's a boy thing. They can't seem to control their limbs. They seem to be falling over their own feet.
You're going to fall off that chair in a minute, Ryan.
You know, they don't realise that they're chewing on a pen lid, chewing on their clothing. They don't realise they've got fingers in their mouths.
Sit up. You're slipping and sliding. Come on, sit back.
Narayan is such a fidgeter, so I'm not surprised he put something somewhere.
Ryan, you know when the doctor sees you, you're going to have to sit really, really still. Really still. You know, like a statue.
They've broken 3 of my sofas, so I've had to replace them just from bouncing, jumping. I find it so difficult to control.
This life is so boring.
This life?
Yeah.
You haven't lived your life yet. You're still little.
Narayan worries quite a lot about things. He can be a slight hypochondriac.
How's my temperature?
I think it was okay.
He's probably got that slightly from me.
Do you need the toilet, Narayan?
No.
Are you sure? What time is it? Oh, I haven't got my watch.
Narayan?
Oh, Narayan. It's you. Take your coat.
So what happened?
Paper in my left ear.
Pain in your left ear.
Yeah, don't ask. I don't know how it got there.
Do you have pain now? Does it hurt?
A little bit.
Okay. I'm going to find the otoscope to look into your ear.
Okay. You have to sit very still, Narayan, okay?
But Narayan, remember, don't put anything in your ears, okay?
Okay, that's
Only food and water and drinks in your mouth, nothing else, okay?
Hello, resus. A critical transfer? Yep. Thank you, bye-bye. That's a male, peds priority, 10 minutes.
A 16-year-old male is being transferred from another hospital with severe bleeding after having an operation to remove his tonsils a week ago.
A Kingston transfer, post-tonsillectomy bleed.
The first thing you're concerned about is how severe that bleeding is, because the blood supply to the tonsil region is very good, so you can potentially lose quite a large amount of blood very rapidly. The worst case scenario is that they can lose so much blood that you'd have to give them a blood transfusion, or they would have to go for an urgent operation to control the bleeding.
The boy's mother is with him in the ambulance.
I was upstairs working from home, just tapping away on my computer. My elder son shouted upstairs and said, "Mum, Dominic's bleeding." As soon as I walked downstairs into the toilet, blood was on the floor, there was blood in his hands. I did feel that with that amount of bleeding, that his life was in danger.
Hello.
Hello. Sarah's had the tonsils out on Friday. She was doing okay until today, and then at 5 o'clock started bleeding profusely.
In terms of the blood, how many bowls?
So we have measured it, and it was about 390 mils.
Does he have any other medical problems?
He is dyspraxic and had a complicated burn. Shop scratch away.
Hi, Dominic. My name's Ahmed. I'm one of the A&E doctors, similar to your my colleagues at Kingston. Because I know you met lots of different people today.
Yes.
So, you had your operation 5 days ago at Kingston. I imagine you had no complications afterwards, there's no bleeding afterwards.
No. But I think today he's been increasingly difficult to speak.
Are you able to swallow? So, open your mouth nice and wide.
Yeah.
My concern when a patient is unable to fully open their mouth is that they have a significant potential infection that's affecting the floor of the mouth. The other risk is that the bleeding is so significant that it actually clots and blocks off the person's ability to breathe.
When I'm trying to examine your mouth, the ability to open your mouth seems quite limited. I'll have a chat with the ENT doctors, as they'll come have a better look at your throat, Tiny.
Okay.
Is that all right?
I was really worried and I was thinking the worst. I was thinking I can't lose my Dominic.
Hello? Ollie's had an accident. He's in St George's. He's got hit by a car down in Surbiton. It's not good.
It's been 60 minutes since 16-year-old Ollie had a collision with a car whilst riding his bike. Doctors have stabilised his blood pressure, but are still worried about a possible head injury after he had a seizure at the scene of the accident.
Do you feel cold at all, darling?
I told him a little while back when he'd done a wheelie. I said, don't do that on the road, because a car's going to come along and it's going to end up eating you.
Dr. Kirsty has the initial CT scans and 3D image of Ollie's head.
All right. He's asked for some pain relief.
Oh, he has? Okay, we'll give him some. It looks like the reason you're bleeding here, okay, is you've lost a tooth, all right? I don't know where it is. You may have swallowed it. And the other thing is you have a broken bone in your cheek. I think for a young person, and particularly a teenager, appearance is vital for them, if not everything, because of social media.
My head all right?
Your head seems okay? Any injury to their face is going to be a concern to them and potentially life-changing. And so we need to be very aware of that and very reassuring, even if we know that that may not be the most important injury. Actually, for them, it may be. What we're waiting for is a formal report, so we have a look at it with the specialist, okay, to exclude anything major. We're not taking this off yet, so you're going to be stuck here for a little while. Try not to move your neck, okay? And as soon as we know, we'll get back to you, all right? I'll call your parents. Hi. He's going to be with us for a little while in recess because we've still got his collar on and we don't want him to move until we have the formal report. So the specialists are having a look at it. He does have some fractured bones in the cheeks. That's what we could see, OK? You can come back in, OK?
Yeah, thanks. You're almost too long for this, Troy. I was 25 when I had Ollie. I didn't feel ready to become a father, really, and it felt very young. Your ribs hurt at all or anything like that? No? I was the typical 25-year-old. I liked my freedom, just like Ollie. I was much the same. No more bike riding for a while, mate. I was most worried about, am I going to be able to provide and say and do the right things? To look after and protect. Close your eyes, mate. Don't you be sorry, don't you worry about it. Accidents happen, don't they? You know. Not time to think about any of that, mate. You're a great boy.
Ollie is in A&E with his dad after a collision with a car while cycling.
We're just waiting for the formal report. Is there swelling on the left side, which is where he was hit by the car. And once we have the report, we can decide whether to clear the spinal.
Me and Ollie's mother met when we was young and, yeah, fell in love.
Are you able to bend your knee for me, Ollie? Is it too painful?
When Ollie arrived, we'd been together for around 4 years, I believe. It's a new stage in your life, you know. You're looking forward and yeah, it's very magical.
Can you bend this knee? Is it generally painful or somewhere in particular? Okay.
We never discussed marriage. I always thought that was for later on. For when we was grown up.
Do you remember banging your knee?
I just remember hitting the corner of it and then I blacked out.
We had my daughter Jessica 5 years later, but unfortunately we wasn't right for each other in the end. And we split 2 years after that.
A depressed fracture on that side.
Yeah.
A&E consultant Manny has come to review Ollie's full CT scans.
I'm Manny, I'm one of the consultants. So I've just taken over from my colleague. How are you feeling?
There is one injury on the report, which is in the back. The two little bits that come out the side off the vertebrae. One of them on the 7th thoracic vertebrae looks broken.
Broken, yeah. And that's up here, is it? It's not down.
Thoracic here, in the middle there.
Breaks in the spines can be some of the most dramatic injuries that you can get. It can change your life from being somebody who can do pretty much everything to somebody who's going to be needing assistance for the rest of their lives.
This is the spine. This is the bit where the important bit is, the nerves in the middle. And that's the transverse process. That's where his is broken. There is a fracture here.
You all right, sweetie? You all right? Do you want to do anything here, or are you comfortable enough? Your bum's numb.
16-year-old Dominic has come to A&E with severe bleeding in his throat after he had his tonsils removed a week ago. Consultant Ahmed is referring Dominic to ear, nose and throat specialists.
Do you want me to do some work on that face? I'd always decided that I wanted 2 children, and I had 2 children. Dominic's my youngest. When I fell pregnant with him, I think I was 36, and I was very conscious of the body clock, but it was all going to plan. But when I was in labour, my waters burst and it all came on the floor, and basically there was something obviously wrong. Does it feel a bit better though, with that bit of cleaning? Or not really? No. There was a placental abruption, which means the whole of the placenta has come away. It's compromised, which obviously affects the baby in terms of being able to breathe. They said I needed to have an emergency caesarean and I'd have to go under. I think they got him out just in time. The next thing I know is I'm in the recovery. Then this doctor comes to see me. I'd never seen him before, and I never saw him after. And he said to me, "You do realise that there's a 50-50 chance that your son will be all right." He was in intensive care for 2.5 weeks. Just before he was due to go home, they told us that they could not predict at all how Dominic would develop. And as a mother, or as a parent, to be told that is very difficult to deal with. That was probably the worst experience of my life, what happened to Dominic, really, yeah. Do you want me to see if I can get hold of Dad again? Hello, dear. We've had a bit of a scare with Dominic this afternoon. We're in A&E in Tooting because he's had a bleed. He just wants to say hello to you. Hang on.
Hello. All right, Dad.
When Dominic came home, there was a lot of talk of not knowing how, things were going to progress.
Yeah, really horrible.
Dominic's got a diagnosis of dyspraxia. It's basically a little bit of a disorder of the brain, and it does affect people in different ways. So it has affected his coordination, motor skills, but also the way that he speaks.
Can you bring my phone? On my headphones.
I think Dominic walking was probably one of the big milestones for us. In order for him to walk, he did have an awful lot of intervention with a physiotherapist, but we watched Dominic actually walk from one side of the room to the other. You just could see the determination in Dominic's face. He was going to do it.
Okay, bye.
The specialist ENT doctor has arrived to examine Dominic.
Julia, one of the doctors. So it sounds like you've had a bit of a dramatic day, is that right? You started coughing up actual blood. Don't be alarmed. I'm not going to go digging in your mouth, okay? Say Okay, well done. Relax. So that sounds to me like there's an infection starting. Is it so I'm going to continue giving you antibiotics through the veins? You're in the right place. Yes, that's the main thing. If we think 1 in 20, it's all just been this one unfortunate complication.
Okay, thank you.
You won't do this again, will you?
No.
No, don't put anything in your ear. Don't worry. It's not scary.
I was working in a bank in the city. I was married. We'd been married 4 years before I found out that I was pregnant. I was 36, so I was an older mum, I would say.
Are there people at home?
So yeah, he's got a brother who's at school, and my husband's at work, so...
And I'm sitting here wasting my day.
Oh no, Narayan.
The sonographer showed us the scans. My husband spotted 2 heartbeats straight away, and as the sonographer confirmed you are expecting twins, it was like I had an out-of-body experience.
Just keep still. Yeah. I do see some paper in there.
Narayan was actually born naturally, and then Jahan was distressed and had to be born by cesarean. So I didn't actually see Jahan until about 12 hours later. I was wheeled into intensive care to see my other child. But because I didn't have that one-on-one bonding, I didn't have that skin-to-skin contact with Narayan's twin brother, I had to connect with him a bit later.
You hurt me.
No, it won't hurt, darling. You just have to breathe and just think of that toy, yeah?
Okay, what kind of toy is it?
A Star Wars.
Ship.
Spaceship?
Yeah.
That's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
That's probably why Narayan is very much a mummy's boy. But you love your children instantly, even if you don't see them straight away.
So I'm trying to find some tweezers to check if I could just quickly get it out.
Listen, once it's out, then you can go swimming and you can go back to school and you can see your friends and you can have lunch.
Hi, it's Manny, one of the A&E consultants. I've got a young man in resus at the moment. He's a cyclist hit by a car. He's got left facial injuries. It is clinically depressed. He has a depression on that left cheek, basically. And he's got a T7 transverse process fracture.
Doctors are concerned about the broken bones in Ollie's cheek and a fracture in his spine. They're referring him to specialist maxillofacial and neurology doctors.
That's the CT report, and they've got a 3D reconstruction on PACS. You can have a look at it.
I think when you're a parent, you feel overwhelmed sometimes by the responsibility that you have for your children. When I see a young person coming in, you naturally just think about your own. And sometimes you do think, oh my God, where are they now? How did they get home today? Who was taking them home today? That kind of thing. And you have this sort of sense that you want to call them, and just to make sure that they are safe.
I'm just going to give you a little clean up, darling, okay? I'm just going to take this away. Not nice when you don't feel well.
Ollie was 6 when me and his mother separated. I moved out. That's the hardest part, not being there every day.
Tell me if I'm hurting you at all, okay?
Not being there for the small things, you know, breakfast and dinner.
Sorry, darling.
It was very important for me to keep a strong relationship with them.
You'll be all right, mister. I mean, Daddy can look after you.
There's definitely a special bond between a father and a son. You enjoy their first experiences, fishing, camping, learning the barbecue. You sort of live your young life again a bit through them, you know. My parents split up when I was about 4, when I was young, so unfortunately I haven't stopped the same thing happening. I think the time I missed with my father when I was younger, it really pushes it to the forefront of always be there. Even if you do split with your partner, you just got to be there, and it's very important, and it always was very important to me.
I lost my phone, just one. Get you a nice gold one, or maybe a silver one, because it is customised.
Doctors now have the neurologist's report on the fracture in Ollie's back.
Right. Happy for me to have a look at your neck? Yeah. Right. Brilliant. Now, try turning your head and stop if it hurts. Yeah. Good. That's reasonable. Lift your head up a tiny bit. That's it, done. Relax again. Good. And it's very likely to not need any treatment. You're just going to have a bit of a stiff, slightly painful back for a while, and it will heal by itself. The facial guys will come and look at the face and look at that side of them. Yeah, mate.
Ollie will now be admitted to a ward before being taken for surgery to reconstruct the broken bones in his face.
I would like Ollie to do better than me. That's what you want for your children, isn't it? Be better with money, to be better in his relationships, maybe. There's no rush to grow up. You know, you're a long time an adult, aren't you? Be a child as long as you can.
I grew up in North London, but I was actually born in Sri Lanka. My dad came to England on a job transfer. He worked in a bank.
I hope he can get it out.
They weren't completely familiar with England at the time, so they would wrap us up in cotton wool. They didn't like us cycling down the road. My brother would have to ride in a park. I don't know why that was. I think they were quite protective.
Hello.
Hi.
It's Nurse Hannah and Narayan. He has a little piece of paper in his left ear.
We kind of try and be maybe a lot less protective than our parents were.
Would you like to sit on the chair by yourself or on your mum's lap? Okay.
Okay. Right, you have to sit really still, Narayan.
I think it's important to just lay back a bit and let them figure things out for themselves.
It's all right, Narayan. Just breathe. Just breathe. It's all right.
Just breathe.
Just think about Star Wars.
One of my sons wanted to ride his bike in the road as opposed to the pavement, but we let him on a very quiet road, even though it makes me feel quite nervous sometimes.
Stay still now. Just breathe.
I'm too scared.
No, don't be scared.
It's okay.
Lie down. Right, don't move, okay?
It's okay.
It's all right, Narayan. It's all right. Look, I've got you. I've got you. Narayan, stay still.
Look what I have.
Oh. Is it all out?
It's all out.
Hey, well done. That's excellent, see?
If they're wrapped up in cotton wool, they will not learn anything. So I think it's important that they do work out for themselves what works for them and what doesn't work for them.
That's great, isn't it? You can go straight to school. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks so much.
Can we have a movie night and eat popcorn?
Yes, darling.
Yay!
popcorn today.
Do you want to do cards or Sudoku? Huh? Cards? Yeah.
Dominic is awaiting further treatment from specialist ENT doctors.
Are you feeling a bit bored, really, or not feeling good?
Bored.
Bored. Boring being with me, innit, really? He's a typical boy, and as much as he loves gaming, he likes to eat loads, and so I'm always finding I'm out of stuff in the fridge. Bit of shuffling required, isn't there? Dyspraxia doesn't affect Dominic's understanding or his intelligence. I would say that, and perhaps my older one wouldn't agree, but I would say my two sons are on a par. He goes to a mixed school, so he's socialising with girls. He's conscious of his speech, but he doesn't let it hold him back. If he wants to buy something, he won't rely on me to go and ask someone. He'll go up and ask them, and that is whether we're in England or whether we're in France. He'll even try and speak to French people in French. I would say that in the lead up to his exams, that's been quite a testing period for our relationship. But we've come through it, and hopefully, it'll have paid off.
Oh, it's good. What are you playing?
We're going to play threes.
This is for you to hold. And it's for you to put in your other hand. Don't worry too much about that. What subjects do you do in school?
Triple science.
Triple science? So you know what hydrogen peroxide is then? Yeah. But it's actually really good in this scenario. So what happens when you gargle this is you put your head right back, gargle it, literally till you see bubbles coming out of your mouth. Do you think you can manage that? Yeah? Do you want to have a go? Well done. Now gargle. That's really good. You're doing really well. You're going to have to do it once more before you go to bed tonight, and you'll have to do one in the morning. Do you think you can manage it? No, I think you can. Well done. I've told the night team about you, so if there's any more bleeding overnight, you need to let the nurses know straight away, because we need to try and stop it, and you may need to go to surgery, but hopefully not. Is that all right?
Yes.
Well done.
Bye-bye then. Bye-bye. You've got to do all of it. It's not been easy for Dominic. He knows he's a bit different from other people. But I'm looking forward to him finding a nice partner that he cares about, who cares about him. And I just feel he will flourish. Okay.
You ready, Dominic? Yes?
Dominic will be taken to a ward where doctors will continue to monitor his throat for bleeding.
He had a lot of different doctors involved, a lot of head injury, back injury, leg injury. So there was a lot of different doctors to organise and scans, and it was a slow 7 days. I'm still reckless, but I need to be careful when I'm cycling rather than rushing about.
Life is a lottery, but I think life also depends what you do with that. If you try and do the best you can with what you have, you could change your life.
Tell me exactly what's happened.
She's having a massive fit. She was shaking, her arm curled up into her chest. It was horrendous.
Prolonged uncontrolled epileptic seizure. One of the most serious complications is permanent brain damage.
It's your child lying there and you can't do anything.